Okay. Turns out the Bible does give the birth order of Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Took me a while to figure it out or learn about it, but the references are there in Genesis 10:21 and Genesis 9:24. 10:21 says Shem is older than Japheth, and Genesis 9:24 says Ham is the younger. So that's what we have to base our SNP model on. So I asked Rock, I said, well, good morning, Doki. How you doing? I asked Rock, well, what would the family tree look like if, given the birth order and the least amount of S&P markers lost? So it's very interesting how the tree came up right away. I mean, the Grok came up with a family tree right away, and it looks pretty interesting. Looks very interesting. So let's go to the chart. I mean, the response here that Grok made. Let's go ahead and throw this up here, and hit this here, and I'll go over and look at it. Okay. This is the references. Shem is the eldest. Ham is the younger. Right there. Genesis 10:21, Genesis 9:24. So with that in mind, I asked Grok, I said, well, if that's the case, what would the tree look like with a birth order of Shem to Japheth to Ham with the least amount of S&P losses? Because the S&P losses are rare. The S&P marker gains are what the family tree is usually looks like or usually made of. So you're interesting. Oh, no, you're requesting a tree with a birth order of Shem, the eldest, Japheth, to Ham, the youngest, per Genesis 10:21 and 9:24, minimizing S&P losses. While maintaining your 16 grandsons framework, you've rooted IJ Arphaxad previously with the M526 IJK shared with K Japheth and M89 with Aram, F Aram, but dislike losses, S&P losses. So we want to go with as few S&P losses as possible. That's with, and that would be only the M526 lost to FGH. So here we'll align S&P with a birth order, Shem the oldest, Japheth next, Ham, CA, B, D, E. The youngest using standard tree progression, A, C, F, F to IJK to reduce losses, testing your historical assignment. So whenever possible, we're going to go with the regular assigned trees, but of course with the birth order that it's supposed to be. Oops, I did something here. Somehow my thing's not working here. Why is it not working? I broke it. Guess I broke it. Let me try see what's going on here. Oh, it's broken. My computer broke. Anyways, I don't have a whole lot of time this morning anyway, but somehow my computer broke. Now what do I do? I'm not getting any responses here. from my mouses. What do we got here? Well, I got nothing. Nothing plus nothing. Something broke here. Now I don't even know how to quit the stream. How am I going to quit the stream if this thing broke? Unbelievable. I did something. I don't know what I did. It broke it. I think I did. Can't use my mouth. Can't use my pad. So, wow, I'm really in bad shape now. Yeah, it's probably still broadcasting. Hold on a second. Let me get it back. See if I can get it back. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to do something. I don't know. This thing really broke somehow. Wow. Sometimes the computer wants to do something and just goes ahead and does it. Microphone in use by Google Chrome. Connection. And it doesn't ask you if you want to do it or not. Somehow, what is this? There we go. That's what I want right there. Wow. It broke. Don't know why. Why would it break like that? That's what I want. Oh, no. Wow, this thing just broke. Unbelievable. There's nothing I can do. I have to restart it and try to get back in my stream, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing here going on. No responses for whatever reason. And the computer here. So, yeah, I'm going to have to try to get back on. So hopefully you'll see what happens here. It's going to be a while. Going to be a good while. Okay, what we got? All right, I guess I'm back in. Okay, yeah. Let's see if I can find out where I'm at. If it won't get broken again. Okay. So yeah, so Grok made an SNP family tree for me with Shem being the oldest son, Japheth being the next born, and Ham being the youngest. Okay, so now this is different. This is a different family tree because it has SNP markers. So the CF marker is 168. That would be, I guess, according to this, the oldest marker. Yeah, right. Pre-Shem. In other words, Shem inherited this marker. Splits to Shem, Japheth, and Ham. So this marker here is a universal marker. Well, with the exception of, I think this one is with the exception of Nimrod's cousins and brothers. So Shem's the eldest. We have the IJ marker, M256. Colon modal haplotype is P58, J1 P58. J2 is Judah, I is Dan and Asher. All with this marker. So Aram has this marker, M89. Lud has M89 plus a division of M427. So Lydians of Anatolia that went to India. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe they did go to India. I don't know. But I was thinking the F went to India because of the trade with India. So Asher has his own marker. It's M201. Elam has his marker. It's M69. Elamo-Dravidians and Gypsies. Tubal has his marker. It's M9 with 8% in Italy. The rest is spread out through Asia, or Southern Asia anyway, South Asia. Tiraz has M9 Thracians to India. That'd be the L, M9. All these have M9, M9, M9. Of course, each one has their own defining SNP markers. They're not here yet, but let's see if it can continue here. Nimrod is 168. This, I think, is that the universal one, and then M130. It's Asia and throughout the globe, with the exception of Africa. A is in Africa, B is in Africa. So that's all Kush. It's A, B, and Nimrod. With A and B in Africa, Nimrod in Asia. Not in Africa because his descendants never really went there until maybe North Africa much later. Libya is M6 or 96. The E2 is M96 Levant. But the E3, where's the E3? M96 too. Okay, that's not separated into M, E1, E2, and E3. But the cyanides have their own marker, M174, which breaks off from E, assuming that E2 is Canaan, it broke off from E2. Okay, SNP assignment, minimal losses. Standard tree is like normal. CF markers 168 for CF, and IJK is M256. Okay, and M174 is DE, or D from E. Okay, the birth order is a CF, which is universal, 168. So that CF is universal. In other words, it was passed down from Shem to Japheth to Ham. The F, M89 is an early Shem's early spit. So I guess Shem, let's see, M89. I think Shem has that one. Anyways, IJK's M526. The Japheth is K. The next split is shared, marker, no loss. Okay. In other words, K, we'll see K has its own SNP and IJ has its own SNP, but they don't lose this marker. K doesn't lose this M526. They retain it. Okay, M9 is Japheth, specific, elemental PQ, Rs, and T. They all carry M9, no loss. C specific SNP is M130, Ham's Nimrod. Keeps M168, which is the universal one. No M89 and no M526. So either Ham lost it, didn't have it, or the later descendants, Cush and Nimrod, didn't have it or lost it. These two markers here. So DE 174, Ham's DE younger split, no M168, and no M89 or M526. So this marker here, this M168, which is the CF marker, 168, that's what XDE. So DE doesn't have that marker. Now they do have another universal marker. It's universal to B. I guess the M60 is Ham's, Cush, Basil. No M168 or other ones needed, because the M60 is universal. And even more so than the other one. More so than this M, whichever one it was. Anyways, this is very confusing. This M168. Yeah, it's a root, but it's not universal. The universal one is the M60. From what it seems here. Okay. Okay, no reversion. Losses minimalized. In other words, SNP losses are minimized. No reversion. No SNPs. 526. M829 lost. Each lineage inherits and builds. It's hard to understand, Grok. Sometimes it's actually saying the way it is, but it's hard to conceptualize it sometimes. Shem is IJ. F is M89. Split at IJK and F. Okay, the split's here and the split's here. Japheth K has the 526 M526 and M9 is the later genealogies, M9. Ham C M168, but I believe that's the Ham's Kush. Kush is M168. AB is Basil. DE is 174. CF or DE, no forced focus or forced loss. Trade-off. Root shifts to CF, not IJ. CF meaning the descendants of Shem, which include Nimrod, because he shares the marker because his uncles are Shem and Japheth. Okay. It takes a while for this to sink in, understand, but after a while we're going to get it. See. So that's Japheth. All right, post Babel. See, Shem the eldest. Japheth is in the middle. Gomer. With Tubal, Tiraz, now it goes in order. Tubal, Tiraz, Gomer, and Java. Okay, I was missing somebody. Why is it missing so many people? I don't know why so many people are missing here. There's only 4 of the 7 sons. This is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he only has 4 sons of Japheth. Nimrod, ABC in Ethiopia, or ABC in Ethiopia. C, Mesopotamia and Asia. D, Sinai's Andaman to Altai, through China, Japan, Tibet. E, put Canaan, Mitzrayim is the E1. Put Canaan, Mitzrayim, Libya, Levant. Okay. Fit. Now, what is this? What are these categories? Historical fit. Okay, something to do with historical fit. I don't know why I skipped some of them. Okay, here's the genetic fit. CF roots. Okay, so it's M168, Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Inherit no loss. So this SNP marker is not lost between Shem, Japheth, and Cush, which is Ham. The C inherits no loss. Shem has the M89 of the F. So the IJ and the F have the M89. FF2G, IJ, M526, natural progression. See, Japheth, 526 M9. K and sons carry M9 loss. Okay. The M9 would be, M9 no loss. So M9 of C, I guess, is not lost. Or is that B? Anyway, if Ham 168, 174, that's C and D. C and DE is 174. 168, 174, A, B, and basal. No forced loss. Issues. IJ is not the root. CF. M168 predates Shem's SNPs aligning with standard tree. Well, unless it's going the other way. Kids, CF marker. Well, IJ. If it's a CF marker, it's IJ has this marker because it's a CF marker. F is FGHIJ. So IJ does have this marker. Okay. And I thought Japheth had it too. Anyway, sometimes it doesn't get straight, everything. But see, IJ is the root. Is M526 equals M89 in IJ. Shem's eldest loses. Well, it doesn't lose it. It's just that it's lost to the other lineages of FGH. Historical fit, strong genetics, inverted. M89 to M526. K root. Japheth Eldest loses M9 to IJ. What was it? Saying M9. So Japheth loses the M9, contradicts Shem's primacy, worse inversion. M9 and K, but I thought everybody was M9. Loses to IJ. Anyways, we got to look at it some more. I think Grok's confused here. M168. Shem is IJF. Japheth is K. Ham is C. Birth order fits. Shem's SNP later. Okay, there's a conclusion. With Shem IJF, Japheth K, and Ham's CABDE, and mineral losses CF, as root works best. Okay, that's the CF means the Shem, descendants of Shem plus Nimrod. Okay, Shem's IJ M526 and F M89 align with historical primacy. Japheth K M526 again fits middle Ham C 168 with Nimrod leads younger. AB no S&P losses. ABDE no S&P losses. What Hams? I thought they did lose us, but anyway. After IJK follows standard progression. So what it was supposed to be IJK, IJ first, and then FGH is after IJ. This is what it's supposed to be. And I don't know if he got that correct here. Okay. It's supposed to be Arphaxad first. Then Aram and Lud. Then Asher and H. But each one has their own markers. I don't know. I think the last one was better than this one. As far as getting it all together. But CF predate, how can CF predate IJ? If they both share the CF marker, how's it supposed to predate? Not a toss-up with K. IJ root bends genetic more. K root misaligns history. CF root balances both, minimizing your lost concerns. Well, that's with the existing SNPs. With the existing SNPs, of course, but they aren't all the SNP markers. There's thousands of SNP markers, I'm sure, that are not even here being considered. But yeah, so Grokker's a little bit confused because he's saying that IJ doesn't have the marker that Aram and Lud have, but IJ had it first, which I explained to him before. But he's getting it mixed up here. I'm sure, because if I go back to the other one, it seemed to work a lot better somehow. Okay. Yeah, this one seemed to work better for some reason. Okay. Yeah, let's check this out. Let's see if this makes more sense. K is M256, M9, M89, and M168. See, that's making more sense there. root. I think K is M9. M86 is Aram. M168 is Nimrod. So the K has the 168 of Nimrod, the M89 of Aram and Lud, and the M9 of his own, and the M526 is the IJK marker. The root 526. They're both the same age, relatively speaking. Only this one, of course, is, well, yeah, they all existed in everyone. The M89 and the M IJK marker here. IJK shares IJK with IJ. Okay, IJ is its own marker. That's the IJK marker is M526. Okay. F is M89. He loses the IJK marker. But it's going from, actually, why did they have the K first? The K is not supposed to be first. But anyways, that's because before I gave the order, I guess. But so F2 has its own marker as M427, and it loses the IJK marker. Asher is 201, and it loses the IJK marker and keeps the marker of Aram and Lut, because Asher was born before Lut, so of course he has the M89 marker because he was born before Lut. This M89 up here, before Aram, I mean. So then H is M69 Elam. Of course, if all the ones before him lost this marker, IJK marker, he's not going to have it either. It keeps M89. 89 being Aram and Lud. C of Nimrod keeps 168, which is a CF marker. Now he loses the M89 and M256, obviously, because they're already there, and Nimrod doesn't have it. The AB loses Nimrod's SNP marker, Aram's SNP marker, and the IJK marker of Arphaxad, and the uncle Japheth. D is 174. E is M89 M96. From DE loses Nimrod's, Aram's, and IJK. Historical fit. Genetic fit. The IJK marker. The Aram, both in K. Rejects M89. and adds M9 K specific. Okay. I don't know. This is a little bit hard to understand. K to IJ. IJ keeps the IJK marker, loses the M9. M9 is, I think it's K specific, isn't it? Isn't it K specific? The 89. M89. Yeah, this is getting all confused. Sometimes the AI will confuse everything. This M89 is of Airman Lud. Of course, the A and B won't have the markers of Airman Lud or of Nimrod or of IJK. This is the same. D just doesn't have these markers because he's younger. Has to be. Okay, here, Japheth the Eldest, K. Shift focus to Europe. Okay. Shem IJ, Arphaxad, the younger. Is young, what? Shem IJ is younger, Hebrew origin, delayed contact with Genesis. Actually, Shem is the older. Because we just read Shem's the oldest. So I don't know if it's mixing stuff up or it's trying to say something different than what I'm trying to understand. Let's see, M50, 256, 526, M89, both K, both NK. Well, if it's in Aram, yeah, it was NK too. Rejects, okay. Genetic K root. This is the IJK. And I don't know. I have to go over this again, see if I can understand it, because it seems to be contradicting itself here. Or I'm not understanding what it's trying to say. K to IJ. IJ keeps the IJK marker, loses the M9 marker. No, the M9 marker is what? Is it K specific? Okay. Who's got the M9 marker? Oh, there's an M96. There's a confusion here. Now the M9 marker is everyone. That's like in B, I think. But I gotta make sure that this is all correct, because they do make mistakes. The language models do make mistakes, and you have to correct it sometime. M9 K. So that's a K downstream. Okay. Well, you can't expect to have. It's not. There's no loss. There's no loss when it's a marker that's gained to the K lineage. It's not a loss. It's a marker that's gained to the K lineage that the other ones never had. It's downstream. It's supposed to be downstream, yeah. Of course it's downstream. So the M526, which includes all of this, the M168, what's the one Nimrod shares, M89 M256 M9, okay. With all markers inverts worse than IJ. I don't know. It was making a lot of sense before, but I guess I'm looking at the numbers too much or something. Less genetic strain, M9 absent. They're both the winner, IJ, less genetic strain. Okay, I guess that's in. Is it a toss-up? Okay. No, it's IJ as root fits the Genesis-based framework. Shem the oldest, Ham the younger. Nimrod leading A, B, D, E far better than K root. Shifted Japheth. Anyways, there you have it. Somebody can understand it or help understand it, you know. Maybe that'll help. Now, if you get it in the right birth order, let's see if we can understand it. I thought I understood it before. Okay, Shem's the oldest. So you have Arphaxad, Aram, Lud, Asher, and Elam with minimal losses. What would a tree look like with the least amount of SNP losses? So that's basically what what we had done, or that I had already changed, or already switched the birth order from Arphaxad. Before it was Arphaxad, Elam, Asher, Lud, and Aram, but now it's Arphaxad, Aram, Lud, Asher, and Elam. So if I can remember I got to remember which letter designation is for each one. Aram is M89, Lud is M89, but it's 427. It's its own lineage. Asher is G, M89, but its own lineage. M201, Assyria. Elam is M69. It's Elam Dravidian, okay. So it's shared SNP is M89, and its unique one is M69. Of course, this M89 everyone has, with the exception of Arphaxad. No, I think Arphaxad has it too. So that's why it's confusing. It doesn't give you all information like it's supposed to. Okay, Tubal has the IJK marker and the M9. Thracians have the M9. Magog, M9. Meshach, M9. PQR Q. There's a means in the Caucasus. See, because it's saying that because it's P element of P, Q, R. So the Q and the R is under P genetically, but of course they're just sharing an SNP marker with their brother. M89, Q is M89, Gomer's M9, M9, M9. Oh, Tubal is M9 too. There. So that's consistent. And Gomer's R1A Ashkenaz, R1B Ripfath, R2 Togarma. It's a matter of trying to understand what is trying to say. Sometimes, half the time. Kush, M168, M130. So Kush's unique marker is M130. His shared marker is M168, except with Africa. Now, this is the basal. If you want a basal marker that everyone shares, should be this M60 right here. It should include everyone with, I guess, with the exception of A. I don't know. But A has its own markers too. It's just they're not being shown here, all the markers. I mean, A has markers of its own, but it has markers shared with everyone else too. E1 is Libya, M96. First Phoenician Canaan is M96. Levant's Sinaites, M174. And Mitzrayim is M96, which is the same as Put. That's about it. Canaan, E2, M96 Levant, M174 Andaman to Altai. Okay. Mitzrayim E3, M96 Egypt. Okay, standard trees A, B to F, to IJ to K. That's a standard tree. M201, G is M201, H M69 from F to E. What? DE is 174. No, 174 DE. I don't know. I think it's getting all confused here. Birth order. CF 168. Birth order fit. CF root. But what about the 60? Doesn't everybody share that one from B 60? M60? Basal. I don't know. Sometimes you can't depend on it for everything. You have to explain stuff to them. To that. to the AI thing. Of course, it's not going to have the 168 of the CF marker. It's not going to have the M89 of the F marker, and it's not going to have the IJK marker. Because all these are locked. This is Nimrod's, right? Yeah, Nimrod's marker is the CF. I mean, the M. Yeah, the CF is the M168. Okay, losses minimalized. No reversions, no SNPs. Each lineage inherits and builds. Okay. Shem's IJ, but this is the IJK marker. F M89 split at IJKF. No, but these markers are supposed to be shared everybody from left to right. Supposed to be shared everybody from left to right is what it's supposed to be. So if it's an F marker, everybody to the right has this marker. So I don't know why it's saying a split in IJK and F. Japheth, as the IJK marker has its own M9, extends IJK. I don't know why it extends IJK. Well, the IJ, yeah, because the IJK has the, I mean, the descendants of K, or the downrange of K, gotta say downrange. Downrange of K has the IJK marker and its own M9. So the brothers of Japheth, I mean the sons of Japheth, the brothers of Tubal, extends the IJK marker. That makes sense. And its own M9 lineage. So back to Shem, IJ has its own marker. That's not the IJ marker, but it's an IJK marker. F split at IJK and F. Why does it split? Because if F has it, everybody to the right is supposed to have it. I think Grok get confused sometimes. Got all excited, but I got to look at this carefully, see if I can understand it better. Trade-off shifts to CF Nimrod's marker, which he shares with everybody. Not IJ, Shem IJ carries a lot of SNPs. Yeah, I don't think Grokker's understanding yet, because the CF marker is a marker it shares with everybody to the right, but of course it's not going to have these markers to the right. These other markers, because that's not the way the SNP designations work. Okay. Shem's IJ and F carries SNPs, and Japheth K 52. Ham C retains M168. So this is the shared marker though with everybody else. It's a C. If it's a CF marker, it's shared with everybody else to the right. So I mean, they gotta have better, explanations here. But anyways, I gotta get ready to go to work. So at least this is the new order anyways, with the least amount of S&P losses would be Arphaxad IJ, has to be IJ because of the co-modal haplotype. Elam has to be H because of the Dravidians. F is 2 lineages, so it has to be Aram and Lud. Asher is G of Assyria. I don't know why it's Japheth with Tubal, Tiraz, Gomer, and Javan. What happened to Madai? Meshach and Tubal, Meshach and Gog. What happened to them? Ham's 4. Yeah. I think this Grok is getting confused now. Because you got to explain each little thing, and then it says, oh, yeah, that's right. The CF, see, now the CF is the root. So this marker is shared by everybody to the right. Shem, this is of Aram. So this marker is shared by everybody to the right. This one is the IJK and everybody to the right, which is all Eurasians. But this one here again of F, M89, that's shared by everybody to the right. F, F2, G, H, IJ, natural progression. Japheth has the IJK, carries it, extends it like Grok said, and its own M9. And carries Son's M9 with no loss. Ham, the C, 168, the M174, I guess was that unique to C? 174 is the DE. Okay. AB is basal. IJ, not the root, but IJ has to be the root. This is the oldest. CF predate, though. Now, if it's a CF marker, it's everybody to the right. It doesn't predate. It's just that everybody to the right shares it. I don't know. Let me just try one little thing here. They don't pass it to each other. They share it, unless it's their father. Well, see if this helps. Everyone has a marker, had it from their common ancestor. They don't pass it to each other unless it's their father, from their father. Now Grok's going to get stuck. Anyway. Let's see if this will help. Well, I'll just redo the whole thing. Anyway, I guess that's good enough. I guess I destroyed this stream good enough. Might end up taking it down. Anyway, what do we got here? New stream. Welcome back. Okay. All right. Let's see if this worked. Guess not. Still thinking about it. Try it again. Copy. Nah, it's stuck. Let me try ask it again. I'll just ask with a correction. Oh, it's not working. Fine. Paste. Okay. Everyone has a marker had it from their common ancestor. They don't pass it to each other unless it's from their father. They don't pass it to each other unless it's from their father. Not working, I guess. Anyways, see if we can figure it out. We'll figure it out eventually. So there's that. So there we go. We got a lot of study to do. But anyways, the idea is that you don't lose a marker unless you have to, according to the birth order. So we have Shem's the oldest, Japheth is the second, and Ham is the youngest. So it has to be in that order. You have to root the tree in Shem's IJK marker, which the younger one, Japheth, inherits the IJK marker as well, except that something happened to Shem when Arphaxad's younger brothers were born, so that they did not inherit the IJK marker. So it seems to be it was lost in Shem, or lost to Shem's later descendants. It was there when Arphaxad was born, but it was not there when Aram, Lud, Asher, and Elam were born. So they do not have the marker. It has to be like that. But they do have their own markers. And instead of having each one lose the marker, like I did before, I'll just go to Airman Lud, the regular way of gaining markers. If not, if that doesn't work, well, if they're gaining markers, it'll be after Arphaxad anyways, so it doesn't matter. But then in the CF marker has to be, if it's in Nimrod and it's a CF marker, it's in everybody to the right, but it's lost to everybody to the left. And, that's just the way it has to be, because that's the actual birth order, regarded. Now, science has to come up with SNP markers that will fit that scenario, reinforce that scenario, because you pick and choose markers that you want, it's not going to, it's going to be whatever you want it to be, not the way it is. So they're going to have to come up with, markers that fit the actual historical record, because that's the way it is. If not, they're losing marker. They're picking markers, SNP markers that are being lost instead of markers that are being gained, because usually down the line you gain markers, but you can also lose markers to people down the line, but it's rare. It's not as common. So anyways, that's it. Good enough for this video. Guess I really messed this one up. All right, God bless everybody. Take care.